Hi everyone, hope you're doing well from wherever you're watching this channel, depending on your time zone. Now, yesterday, it was on Sunday, and Cate Waruguru decided to go back to her home county in Laikipia to send a very critical message to President William Samoei Ruto at Nanyuki in a church. And this time around, she decided to be spiritual and use the word of God to warn Ruto and deliver that very critical message. Remember, we are in a situation whereby abduction is going on. Anytime anyone can be abducted. And after being abducted, possibility of you being found lifeless is inevitable. Out of 5 people who will be abducted, at least 4 will be discovered when they are dead. 4. Wakishika watu 10, wakiachilia hao watu karibu 7-8 watakuwa ni maiti. Watakuwa hai. That is the situation we are in now. And here is her message to the president. That you have made the nation to cry. And vengeance and battle belongs to God. It's not for you. So, Ruto, if you take war into your hands, what will God do? If you fight for yourself, God will not fight for you. That is Cate Waruguru. That you cannot be he who pray to God and still take the work of God. Just pray and leave the battle to God to fight for you, unless if you are not a Christian or an unbeliever. Cate Waruguru did not stop there. She went on to talk about how Kenya as a nation, it has been a safe haven for other African people around here and our neighbors. It has been a refuge for those who are running for their lives. But imagine, now this is the situation we are in now, whereby you cannot predict your future, if you will live or not. Anytime you can be abducted. So Kenya is no longer the same Kenya people used to see and view as safe haven for them. She has gone on to mention other nations. And I want to listen to her shortly, then we are going to continue with this discussion.
President Mr. William Ruto, if you hear my voice today, I'm calling on you from Nanyuki Altar, a GOC church. And there's an altar that is speaking to Laikipia County. I've come home to speak to you, to tell you the Lord is telling you, may you wear and God crown you with the spirit of a father. Vengeance and battle belongs to God. If you fight for yourself, God will not fight for you. The same God who fought for you 2017 to 2022, He's still seated on the throne. You cannot be he who is praying to God and still taking the work of God. You have made the church to cry, made the nation to cry, and you've thrown us into confusion until we wonder what's the difference between us and Gaza? What's the difference between us and Hamas as we fight? What's the difference between us and Congo? Bishop just said Kenya is a refuge for any refugee who is running. Any child of East African community who doesn't have a home, to Muslims, Sudanese, Christians, they all run to Kenya. What has happened?
Now, we are continuing with this final discussion. Just a quick request for those who are watching this channel and you have not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing. To our returning subscribers, I must say thank you so much. And again, to all our viewers, please give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much, and back to our discussion. Now, this is Cate Waruguru, that we are wondering, what is the difference between us and Gaza? What is the difference between Hamas and us? That there is no difference between Kenya and Congo. We are now same. But now the worst thing for Kenya is that if the government is abducting innocent, harmless, unarmed youth. hawajajihami kwa bunduki, hawa sio magaidi, lakini ni Gen Zs ambao wameamua kutetea haki zao kupitia kwa njia ya mtandao as they criticize the government. So that is now the funny thing. And that is what has angered Cate Waruguru to deliver this message right in the church. Now, if you have leaders who can stand on the altar like Cate Waruguru and have such kind of a notice or message to the president, they are welcome to the altar to speak to the power. This was a great one. Kama ni wanaweza sema na sio siasa, basi wakuja waseme. Sababu hapa hakuna siasa. Cate Waruguru is speaking of the current political dispensation whereby someone is settling political differences through execution, forceful disappearance, kidnapping, abduction. We are settling political differences in such a way. So I don't see her politicking. I see her delivering a message to the president, a warning to the president. There is no politics in her statement. This time round, she was much focused to speak to the feelings of Kenyans, to the heart, to the problems that we are facing as a country. Indeed, it is true, the church is crying. Pastors are tired. Every time they get to the church, you find church members are saying, please pray for my son. He got lost. He was kidnapped. I can't find him. Kanisa inaenda kwa mpaka hata wana ya kufunga. Naomba Mungu afanye tu maajabu. The church is crying. Beside that, they are even hammering at the church. Ruto amekuwa ndio president wa kwanza kuanza kunyang'anya makanisa vibali vya kufanya ibada zao. Lakini ukiangalia makosa makubwa hakuna. Kitu kama akina Ezekiel. Kuna watu wengine hawafai kuwa na vibali vya kufanya kazi, lakini haendi kwa hao. I was wondering how was the government taking away Pastor Ezekiel's license for the New Life Church. The church is crying. The nation is on its knees. We are in sober mood that we have lost so many youth. And seemingly this government is still so much determined to continue with this heinous act of abduction. So it is time to speak to this government. If Kenya was a safe haven some time back, what happened and where did we go wrong? Is the president, the current president, the biggest problem? Definitely the answer might be yes. Ugandans used to run to this country for their safety. Will they come in today when they hear Kenyan youth are being kidnapped by their own government, and the president, the kind of response, the president will respond and the ruling party members are going to respond. Kenya is no longer safe haven. It is something different. So we are losing that title of safe haven. Ni kama tunaongozwa na watu ambao hawana utu. Ruto decided to take battle into his hands. And that's why Cate Waruguru is warning him that if you take this fight in your hand, that, okay, someone shared images showing that you are in a casket where you are not. So are you there? Why can't you leave the battle to God to fight for you? If you are fearing that, unaweka kwa sanduku alafu wewe utaaga. Why can't you leave the battle to God to fight for you? Because with God, all shall be well. But instead, he takes the battle in his own hands. He wants to fight it. So he is denying God that chance to fight for him. And therefore, he's an ungodly man. He's no longer the Ruto that told us that he served the living God that depend in prayers. This is a different Ruto who does not believe in the Bible. Because if you believe in the Bible, then the battle, revenge, is for God. Why? You take the position of God to revenge, to fight for things that God can fight for you. If someone if someone draw your photo showing that you're in a casket, then you end up giving orders that result into that person being killed. So between you and the person who drew your photo in a casket, who is a killer, you become a serial killer. So who carries this big, blame of killing? That person did not kill you. But now you are a killer, a murderer. That's why Cate Waruguru is saying that the nation is mourning, the church is mourning. There is a problem. So this message is for one, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Samuel Ruto. I don't know your views, but let us meet in the comment section to continue with this discussion. Thank you so much for listening to me up to this far. And if you have reached this far again, I'm still reminding you, remember to subscribe, like, share, and comment. Thank you so much, and see you in our next video.